This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome back to Wealth Wednesday with Foster Financial. Now, we've been talking about support for widows if you lost your spouse. What do you need? What paperwork? Who to contact? And today we're going to dive deeper into the financial checklist with Caleb Doane, the Vice President of Foster Financial. Good morning, Caleb.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Okay. So, like I said, we've been on this journey with you, learning about what women or, people should do if they were to lose their spouse. And can you run through what the steps have been and then what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah. So of course it's a very big there's a big financial implication if a spouse passes away. It's probably one of the biggest financial events that you'll go through outside of maybe retiring. And so we want to make sure that we understand what are some of the key steps that folks need to take when a spouse passes away. And so we kind of organized them into a few different categories. We talked about gathering the right documents. We talked about contacting the right people, and now we'll talk about taking the appropriate action.
Okay.
And so there's a whole list of things that are important to do when a spouse passes away. In that kind of taking action category, one of the first ones that we think about is updating beneficiaries. Because oftentimes with spouses, they have their other spouse as the 100% primary beneficiary, and then maybe they have kids as contingent beneficiaries. Oftentimes when clients come to us, though, they might not have any contingent beneficiaries listed. That's a thing that often just gets overlooked, where they just have their spouse listed and that's it. So once that spouse passes away, all of a sudden there's no beneficiaries on any of these accounts. So that's why we like to go in. If a new client comes to us, we do an analysis on all of the accounts that they have and make sure beneficiaries are listed properly. And there's just a lot of things in legal documents too. The spouse might have been listed as their executor, their power of attorney, or something like that. And so we want to make sure that those things are updated appropriately.
And when you're thinking about the beneficiaries, like what if this is someone who has lost their kids or don't have kids? And so can you kind of break down some of the purpose of a beneficiary so people can think about, well, who would I list in the event I don't have kids?
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, it's just designating what somebody's wishes are going to be with their finances when they pass away. So certainly if somebody doesn't have kids, a lot of times it's really important to make sure you have a will or a trust set up that's going to designate exactly who the funds are going to go to. Maybe it's a niece, maybe it's a nephew, maybe it's an organization, but we like to partner with the clients and make sure that there's a plan for where they want the assets to go. So certainly updating beneficiaries is a big part of it. Another kind of action step that we have recent widows often take is creating a new budget.
Okay.
Typically, I mean, when people are married, they're kind of used to a certain routine, they're used to a certain amount of money that they're spending every month. And sometimes we find when a spouse passes away, the surviving spouse spends a lot less than what they originally did as a married couple. Sometimes we find that they spend a lot more. So it kind of varies. Sometimes one spouse is just more of the spender and the other one is kind of reining them in. And sometimes if that spouse passes away, then the income needs can change. And so we want to make sure that we align on what that new budget is going to be, because it's such, of course, a big financial event there. So we like to do that. And then lastly, we would say talk with a financial advisor. It's just a big financial undertaking when a spouse passes away. There's a lot of things to be cognizant of. Your tax brackets change, your income changes, your expenses might change, your beneficiaries change. There's just a lot of moving pieces going on. And oftentimes people can get subject to what we call the widow's tax trap, which is something I want to talk about in a couple weeks.
Okay.
And that's where a financial advisor can come in and help with some of that tax strategizing to make sure that somebody doesn't pay too much in taxes.
And at what point in the process of losing someone, I mean, it's such a devastating period, how soon or how long can someone go before they do start to do these items on the checklist?
Yeah. Well, the ideal scenario is that you have a relationship with a financial advisor ahead of time, so that financial advisor can help and act on your behalf during this process. A lot of times we try to take as much off of our clients' plates as possible when they're going through this. If you don't have a financial advisor, it's difficult because you're the one who's needing to fill out all the beneficiary forms on life insurance paperwork. You're the one that's needing to transfer accounts, in your spouse's name over to your name. If you're working with a trusted financial advisor ahead of time, they're able to accomplish a lot of that stuff for you, so you can focus on kind of the emotional side. You can focus on grieving, you can focus on taking care of family and doing a lot of those things. And you don't really want to be interviewing a financial advisor and kind of deciding who you're going to go with right after something like that happens. So it's much better to establish a good relationship ahead of time. That way a lot of these things can get taken off your plate.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
We
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you would like more information about Foster Financial, we'll have their website and their phone number listed below. And I'll see you after the break.
This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.